Today's top corporate story reports say Nvidia and AMD have agreed to give the U.S. government 15% of the revenue that they generate from exporting AI chips to China. In return, the companies will receive export licenses to sell chips in China.
I think from Nvidia's perspective, the potential of not shipping anything to China or shipping to China with this 15% deal is clearly a better situation for them. But it obviously calls into question what's the national security concern here. AMD was also affected by this as well. AMD's margins are lower. So it's one of the questions we have is AMD able to absorb that 15% in the same way Nvidia has, and therefore that sort of export tax or whatever you want to call it may benefit Nvidia more than it benefits AMD because they're in a better position from a margin standpoint.
As an investor, you're worried because then is this an arbitrary decision by the government? Does every president get to play kingmaker in terms of these deals? So I think that's really what the concern is, and we still have additional tariffs and trade deals to come from the China negotiation. So we're not sure exactly if it's over yet, but if this is a way in, it's actually interesting because the Chinese government is also poo-pooing the H2O chips and the AMD chips, telling their teams that, hey, we've got a backdoor here. There's something that might be, security issues on the other end. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on here because China's not welcoming of the chips, telling their teams not to use it. And the US is saying, take a 15% cut. So I'm not sure exactly what the story is on this.
My question is, do companies ultimately like Tesla and Apple get wrapped up in this? And this has been focused obviously on AMD, Nvidia, some of the other chip players may be involved in this 15% revenue share, state-sponsored capitalism. But I wonder if it ends up kind of expanding from that. I think it does set a unique precedent, something that personally I don't like that. I think that companies should just kind of do what they want to do. But I think from the perspective of Nvidia, to have the White House as one of your backers, I mean, that's a powerful ally.
I have not seen anything quite like this in the United States. Of course, the place where you tend to see this kind of government intervention in the market is China. And we're sort of following China's playbook now of the government getting very much involved in the affairs of individual countries. The real issue here is that export controls used to be this area of policy where you looked at the technology and made very hard judgments about whether it was critical to military, intelligence, national security that we not allow things to be exported. It wasn't an issue of trade. It wasn't something you traded away, and you revised them depending on the development of technology. With the recent decision by the Trump administration to allow the sale of chips that had previously been restricted under export controls, it makes a security issue more of a trade issue, and that's a bad precedent. The Chinese have always wanted to engage in a conversation with the United States about export controls as if it was a trade issue, and we've now opened the door to that.